Hello, my name is Sion Tesfaye. We are here in Dallas, Texas at Deborah Berhan Qaddas Selassie, or Holy Trinity EOTC. Behind me, we actually have the Fruits of Evangelism, the first conference that Mabra Qaddusan has finally put together. They have people from all over the states, whether different nationalities or even from different religions that have converted to our beautiful Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo faith. It's truly amazing getting to see so many people from so many different backgrounds and face so many different struggles, but face the same struggles along the way, whether it was the language barrier or trying to find the true connection between them and the church. Truly, this conference has been phenomenal, and we'll actually take you to that conference right now to see some little quick bits and pieces of what all of our guests here have gotten to be a part of, whether it was from hymns to discussion or even to telling their own life stories, how they got to this point, how they got to be baptized, and so much more. So stay tuned. We'll take you straight to the conference.
Not for my own vainglory, but you guys are going to establish churches. You're going to establish families. You're going to be orthodox, and it's not going to be easy. Has it been easy so far? I don't think so. Don't look for it to get easier, but look for the blessing. There's a blessing. I almost want to shuffle like a Protestant. Glory to God. There's a blessing. I am highly Jesus. And that's a freeing thing. The brother was talking about, he was this person, then he changed his name. I understand that. From Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali, didn't we see him do it? From Lonnie Ray Green Jr. to Turu, Turu, that's the common name, to Haile Jesus. Baptized by my heroes, I guess, confessor, Abuna Yeshek. I was so proud of that. I'm so proud of that. You have no idea.
My husband, on the other hand, grew up in Ethiopia. He was baptized as an infant, but through some turn of events, he was really raised more Protestant by some extended family. So we really more had a Protestant upbringing. So a few months after we got married, COVID hit, and he was trying to graduate school and land a job, and the world is falling apart, and I'm lucky to be working full time and training for my collegiate athletic team at the moment. So I was pretty busy. This was not really my focus on trying to figure out what kind of Christian I'm gonna be. But my husband, he used all of his extra time when he's not applying or interviewing to look into church history, to really understand how did all these different denominations come to be? What was the early church like? And he would share with me everything that he found. So we would have some good conversations at night, just whatever he had learned that day. And it became clear that the early church is actually, still present today. And I'd never heard of it before, the Orthodox Church. So we decided, first he landed a job in the big city. The big city was Indianapolis at that time. So we moved, and he's like, I bet there's an Ethiopian Orthodox Church here. Let's go check it out. And I was totally unprepared. Guys, I showed up in sweatpants. I had no Nutella. We went through the back door. It was ridiculously embarrassing. There was so much incense, and I did not know what I was getting myself into.
The first thing that it shocked me when I got there, because I was able to compare all my life from my 20s to my 40s in the reggae Rasta movement, and I see the Ethiopian community celebrating, having a festival. I didn't see no discussion, no argument, no quarrel. everything just peaceful, everybody enjoying, having a good time, everybody well dressed, royally, traditionally. And that impacted me. I said, wow, these people are different.
At this moment, I would like to take this time and talk about my journey, how I became an Ethiopian Orthodox church and how I joined Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Let me talk about my life. My life was like that from Egypt to Canaan, filled with sin. After becoming an Ethiopian Orthodox, my life changed to a better life and to be a good example for others.
Third generation American on both sides of my family. My mom's side is Greek. My dad's side is German. My dad ended up converting to Greek Orthodox. So I was raised a cradle Eastern Orthodox. We grew up back and forth from Wichita, Kansas to Los Angeles. And it was a big blessing to be cradle Orthodox. I was really impacted by the church at a young age. We were pretty involved in the church growing up. But as most cradle Orthodox do, I kind of strayed away from Christianity in the church as I got older into high school and college times. But it had a big impact on me. At a young age, I wanted to become a altar boy serving altar for a brief moment.
With me, I have two special guests that have come here for our conference, and we're gonna ask them a couple things, figure out what their story is, and we're gonna go straight to them. Hi, who am I here with?
Hi, I'm known as, it's Ikidan, that's my Christian baptism name. Some also call me Katisha or Titi.
Okay.
I am Gabriel Sintayu. We are together, married. We come from Nashville, Tennessee.
All right. What was your religion prior to Orthodoxy? I know you said that you were born into Orthodoxy, but before you guys met, what religion were you previous to this?
A Southern Baptist.
Okay. When you first heard of Orthodoxy, was it through him? Was it through a friend?
Yes, it was through, we were friends at the time through college, but yes, it was through Sintayu.
Okay. So what kind of religious boundaries did you face, especially when first starting to get to know him? Did you know, when you first met him, did you know that you were going to have to convert? Were you expecting to just stay in your own religion and kind of conjoin in the family? Does that make sense?
Yes. So one thing that we talked about before we got serious, that we would have to be one religion. So I couldn't be Baptist and he or him be Orthodox. We would have to just become one. So had to choose between one or the other.
Gotcha. Yeah. How was that conversation like? I'm sure it wasn't the easiest conversation to have, but what were some struggles that y'all faced when you converted or you helped her convert to Orthodoxy?
Yeah, it's not simple.
Yeah.
It's not really simple, especially she come from Baptist and I'm come from, the Oriental Church, the Orthodox. So we have a little hard time, but our family, they raised our kids, their kids, with the same background, the same faith. So they told us in our, we have a marriage council before we start getting married. They told us one of the main thing is to have the same faith and one household. So it wasn't easy, but it would have been so easy. Someone go the same route. So we had to choose. So she was a Baptist and I was the Orthodox. So and I told her, if we have a family, we need to be the same. So she was like, "Oh, that's hard. It wasn't easy." So because she came from a Baptist and she grew up going every Sunday for Easter, for Christmas, for all holidays. So what we did was, well, I'm going to your church, and then after that, let's go to my church. So that's what we started off. So we started off our church, and we started, meeting our father, and then, she started learning, and she fell in love, I believe.
Yes. I would say one of the challenges that we faced was just like knowing which one was right. So a lot of prayer. I didn't want to just join the Orthodox Church just because he was Orthodox and because we wanted one whole, because this is the Almighty Father. We're talking about God is so special and our relationship with him is so special. So it had to be out of a place of heart and conviction. And so I prayed about it first. It was hard because I was going to an Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo church where there was no English at all. So that's something I really struggled with. I prayed and I asked God, should I continue to go here or should I just, go somewhere else? I'm struggling because I don't know the language. And then that Sunday, like the next Sunday, my Dr. Father Messman, he actually started to speak English. And he started to translate the services. And I never had a conversation with him about how that made me feel prior to that. It was just, I seen it as a miracle. Like, I never talked to him, letting him know that that was something I struggled with. It was just a prayer answered. I seen it as a miracle that, it just happened. And I felt like that was confirmation that I belong there and I should stay there. And a prayer answered as well.
I love that. That's such a beautiful story. Now, you talked about having English, having that language barrier. Do you think that maybe if you rewind time back to when y'all first got together, when you were thinking about converting, do you think that if there were more opportunities for the congregation or even just the service to be in English, do you think that would have made your transition easier? Do you think it might have pulled you away? Like, what do you think that could have had an impact on?
Yes, probably if it was in English, but I say that, but then maybe not, because sometimes I'm learning Amharic, and when I say certain words in Amharic in the church, I feel like that it's much stronger, like Ixio Mahana Christos. If I say that in English, I don't really, it's I don't really know how to explain it, but we all know for the people who speak more than one language, sometimes it's stronger in like another language. And I feel like so I say in English it would have made it easier, but I don't know really, because it is something powerful about it being in Amharic or Ge'ez. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel so much closer with communicating with God sometimes through those languages than my own born language, English.
That. So y'all did talk about the struggles you faced when you were first trying to figure out what is the true religion, what is the religion that either one of you were going to convert to. After you guys had decided that you were going to stay within the Orthodox Tewahedo Church, what were some struggles that maybe you faced after? Because obviously before you got married, you'd had to get baptized. What were some things that y'all faced, either you or both of y'all together, some troubles that y'all had faced along the way?
So after baptism, I think it just adjustment of living Orthodox life. As it wasn't simple. So we had no fasting. Now we have to fast. Not only a lot of fasting. Now we have like twice a week. So fasting is a lot. And then it's not only also that now we have to focus on our faith and our travel. So we had a lot of help with the priest and stuff like that. But after we got baptized, it wasn't a lot of help. So now it's on our own. So she has to, pray in English and trying to learn Amharic. So it was a little bit hard, I think, after baptism. Before baptism is, everyone is welcoming. Everyone is trying to teach her. And after, we kind of we almost lost her. There's there's 3 people got baptized the same day than her. 2 of them, they don't come anymore. It's because it's not, they don't want to come. It's because of we're not keeping them. I mean, maybe we're not following up with them, or they don't have friends, they don't call them and stuff. I think she come every time to church because of maybe me being with her,
Unity.
so be our unity together. So she being with me and stuff like that. So I think the challenges are, sometimes friends and family. They eat a lot of food. Now you can eat food.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Easter and then Thanksgiving food during fasting season. So we can't have those things. So those are a little bit challenging because we love food. Do you have any challenge you have?
Yeah, I would say one challenge is because like Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo, the church has been around for many years. I'm still learning the church, and so when people ask me questions that I don't know and I'm still learning, that's a challenge for me. I know that it's the true church, and I know that I belong and this is the right place, but I'm also still learning too. So sometimes when they ask me questions I don't know, I'm like, okay, let me get back to you. I'm still learning myself. But that could still be challenging too.
What is some advice you'd give to either a married couple where one has officially transitioned over to orthodoxy? What is some advice you'd give to really help them persevere? But even if it's someone that hasn't even gotten married but has just converted to religion and feels like after they've gotten baptized and after they've gone through all these things that they're like, okay, so now what? What would be some advice you'd give to either of them?
I would say community is everything. But number one, prayer, because God hears us. He's the God who hears us and answer prayers, and He wants it. He loves His children. He loves us. We're walking testimonies of that. So just communicating with God, but also speaking to maybe your spiritual father or people in the church, because maybe they have some resources that you may not have. Just reaching out. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions, because community is everything. Community is one of the things that kept me. I love the community, how welcome people are. Community.
I think I have probably two advice. I think the first advice is don't miss church. Even though you don't understand English, the Ge'ez and Amharic, don't miss it. That's because you go in church. You don't. If you close your eyes, you can listen. Even if you like the smell of the church.
I love it. I love the smell.
Just everything about it. It's not only you go there, you never know what you're gonna experience. The Holy Spirit is there, so don't miss church. Don't miss church. That's what I would say. The second of all is, if you're a couple, you're trying to figure it out. You should be one. I think if we were one and we keep the sacraments of marriage, I think our marriage will go further. So we've been married today, actually yesterday, it was our anniversary, 4 years together.
I love that.
And then after we got married, even at church we got married, we had a baby. So we just had our baby, she's like a 9-month-old. So I think God will bless you if you're united, especially if you honor Him and honor His sacraments, especially the sacrament of marriage. And I would say that is the big advice I would give, not to miss church. And then, the marriage, just value the marriage.
Unet. Indeed. God will bless you by honoring His sacraments.
I love that. Thank you both so much.
Yeah, my name is Theophilus. I'm right now, presently, I'm living in New York, Manhattan, and a member of the Holy Trinity Church in the Bronx. Well, I was invited by the church here, me and some fellow brothers and sisters, and pretty much that will make us compelled to really come and visit the church and stuff. Well, before, I was being a Rastafarian, originally from Trinidad, I was baptized in 1983 by His Grace. Right now His Grace is Bishop Thaddeus, Abba, but he was Abba at the time, Abuna. And I was baptized in 1983 in Trinidad. So I become a member in the Orthodox faith around that time. Being an Orthodox Christian, even, receiving the faith and believing and receiving Christianity and with Christ, is a challenge of, keeping the faith. Because you come to the church, you get to understand, you have to learn the language, you got to learn the culture, the way of life. So that was like a challenge to, be disciplined and continue, into that tradition, even from that time to now, because it's like nearly 30-something years I've been an Orthodox Christian baptized. So for all that time to now, it was like, let's try to keep the faith and be in the church as much as I could have been, Pretty much, like being in the church, like in the early time, because, fathers and them, they came from Ethiopia. So while we was being around them, we get to kind of be more comfortable, trying to understand. And they was trying to kind of be like, they always be, as fathers, they came down to us, They was so humility enough to try to understand. So it wasn't like complicated to understand like their way of life, because they make it like that for us. So even we transition to like meeting our fellow Ethiopians, like being out here and meeting a lot of, we brothers and sisters from Ethiopia, it was an easier, transition to relate easier then, knowing that, that's how we, like back home, we meet with fathers, so it wasn't hard from that, Well, I become strong in the faith by like seeking more the teachings of the church, because, the church is limitless of knowing the faith, like understanding the sayings, the prayers, understanding the Kadase, understanding how what the church really teaches then. So, it's like you build your strength towards, for you to be more, it's like a baby, Like a baby, sometimes you get feed by, baby food, but when you reach a certain age, you change the food and you eat a different kind of food. So it's like the church, when you come to the church, you become a baby, a child. And when you reach a certain perfection towards learning about the faith, then you get more stronger in the faith, Yeah.
If you could give a piece of advice to someone trying to go through these baby steps, as you said, what would you give them?
Well, I will say, when you come to the church, don't come knowing that you know everything, because the church is a place of learning. And, many times we come to the church as Western people. We got to come and unlearn to learn, It's like a person, even though you might feel but yet still you humble yourself to know, because the fathers and them, they had the teachings of the ancient. They have the true interpretation of, like the way of Christianity, of, so a person who now, like coming into the church, they have to come humble, you know what I mean? That's Christ say, humble yourself like a little child, because the kingdom of heaven is like a child, So if you don't humble, then you wouldn't really you wouldn't learn much,
The language barrier was one, but I was able to overcome that because our confession father, our spiritual father, Casey's nephew, he's very fluent in English, and he was able to have these classes for me before I got baptized. So I wouldn't say that it was a challenge, but I was able to overcome it, and it's a continuing challenge. I feel like a lot of converts in that are in the same situation I'm in, they would say that like not being able to understand the Amharic portions of the church or Kadase is a struggle. But every time I talk to people that do speak Amharic, they're like, most of the Kadase is in Giz, and a lot of them don't understand Giz. Yeah. So in reality, we're all in the same situation. My father-in-law says it's more like you feel it through the Holy Spirit. Even if you don't understand the language, you still feel it inside. So that's how I overcome that challenge.
So would you say that Cassis Nabi was one of your main helpers, aside from your wife, of course, to help you convert, or were there any other people that played a big factor?
I would say, yeah, he's probably one of the most important factors, because I come from a Catholic background, and he helped me like bridge the gap between the two faiths. There's a lot of similarities to the two religions. There's obviously the apparent differences, and he helped me bridge the gap between the two. And I think also another big factor are my in-laws. Just seeing what they have as like a marriage, and how I know how important marriage is when it comes to Christianity. Just having them as role models, and the fact that they also follow the Ethiopian Tewahedo Church. They definitely helped me in terms of like pushing myself more to this faith and religion.
So, what are some pros that you've gained after you've fully converted? And of course, you have a wife and a kid. What are some things that you've definitely been like, oh, okay, this is really what faith is about, like the community aspect?
About the community? I think honestly, going to church way more often than I ever done. Like, besides the fact that Kadase is like 6 times the length as a Catholic mass, I think actually going to church, the act of going to church, I've been doing it way more frequently than I ever did when I was a Catholic. And I honestly think it's a mixture of things, because if I didn't have that community, I would probably like not run away from it, but like you said earlier, it'll be a challenge. So, for example, there's a few non-Ethiopians at our church, and they gave me liturgy books that are in both Amharic, Gez, phonetic English, and English. So I'm able to say the Gez and the Amharic portions myself, and at the same time I can understand what I'm saying because the English translation is right next to it. So, and that really helps. And I've never been in a situation where during Kadase, if someone sees me struggling understanding, like let's say I'm in the back and I can't see the translation, the screen that has the translation, they'll always find me a spot to like so I can have a better view. They're very welcoming, accommodating. They do a really good job at not making you feel like an outsider. So that community aspect is honestly such a great appeal. So.
When you guys first got together, of course, you had to, or one of you had to convert to either or religion. What is some struggles that y'all first had to overcome with choosing which one was a true religion?
I don't know if we struggled that much. I think he was a Catholic, and he knew most of the stuff I knew, but like you mentioned, maybe he didn't go as much to church that I did. I grew up in a very Orthodox household, so I went to church and did the lessons and the Sunday schools, the choir. So I knew it was, for me, there was no converting somewhere else. And he understood that it meant a lot to me. So he knew, like, going into a marriage, that I would want that. So he did that for me. So I don't think he forced me to go the other way. Yeah.
I love that. What is some advice that you would give to couples that one or the other had to convert over to Orthodoxy? What are some things that or advice that you would give to them if they're trying to overcome that challenge?
I think ask questions. I think even ourselves as, I'm born into Orthodox, but I feel like I didn't ask as many questions as I should have. And because of him, because we had to take lessons and for him to convert, and I learned a lot. So I think ask questions and get a good teacher. I think that makes a whole difference. And create a community or try to find a community. I think those 3 things should help.
And then finally, last but not least, what are some things, or what did you feel initially, like after he had gotten baptized, after he had fully taken communion and officially became an Orthodox Christian? How did you feel in that moment? Like, was it a surreal feeling? Was it like, oh my gosh, I never thought this day would come? What was going on through your head?
Oh yeah, it really was. I can't believe it actually happened. The journey, I thought it was going to be way too long. I put too much pressure on my head that, it somehow will take years or perfection, which I think in the Ethiopian community, sometimes perfection it's just put into you sometimes. So it was definitely a sign of relief, and I'm so lucky also that he was actually willing to learn, willing to ask questions, and willing to hear the other side, which a lot of people sometimes are not. So very happy.
I love that. Again, thank you both for joining us. Thank you. Hi, who am I here with?
Hi, I'm Julia Achmano.
All right, what's your baptismal name?
Willetta Weld.
All right. Where are you from?
I grew up in Indiana, but now I'm here in Dallas, Texas.
What was your religion prior to orthodoxy?
Just Protestantism, non-denominational, really.
What made you first want to convert into orthodoxy?
My husband was looking into church history, and all of a sudden we realized the early church is still around, and the more we looked into it, it was like answering questions that I never even knew I had. So,
I love that. When converting, were there any specific struggles that you faced, some challenges you had to overcome in order to fully get baptized?
yeah, I would say just getting to an Orthodox church in the first place. I went to school several hours away from any Orthodox church, and it wasn't until my husband landed a job in Indianapolis that we got our first chance to go. So I definitely had a big part to play in it.
When you were converting, who were your main helpers throughout this entire journey that got you to baptism and after?
I would say Dr. Bella and now Kesis Fasaha from Indianapolis, Indiana at St. Michael. They really led me all the way through like catechesis and even just putting me in like a college class to learn more about the faith afterwards.
What was the first ever church service that you had gone to, either before or after you got baptized?
So before, we did go for Kadase. I really didn't know what I was getting into, but that's why we were able to actually visit the church for at that time. And then, during my baptism, obviously, Kadase is a huge part of that, and to take communion afterwards. And then, I just kept coming back for the English service and whenever I was on break from school. So, yeah.
After fully becoming an Orthodox Christian, what are some things that you still struggle with?
Oh wow, struggles are so different now. Now I have a baby and another on the way. I've been married for 5 years. That changes you as a person. We've moved across the country. But I would say through all of that, still trying to fit Christ into my life in every aspect. And also trying to find rest in God, what that even means and what that looks like. Because truly it is really needed. So.
What are some things that you expected to receive or services that you thought the church was going to give you after you got baptized that you didn't quite receive?
I thought there'd be more of a formal, continuous education just for converts at least. There's so much I didn't know, and I was really struggling to put my faith into words when people are questioning me about it. So it was I feel like a missed opportunity when I could have been reaching out to other people, or at least maybe making it seem a little less super foreign to them. So.
What did you expect from this conference, and how do you plan on impacting either your world, the people around you, and your day-to-day lives, or even just the church as a Christian?
Yeah, so my only expectation was really just to get to meet people. I haven't met too many converts, to be honest, in the church, and so it's just super comforting to know that there's people all across the world, really, the nation, but also the world, who have gone through a similar experience as me, and just hearing their stories, and I think I'll be taking their stories along with me as I leave here, just thinking about what they've been through and ways that we can all work together to kind of make it better for the next generation. Yeah.
Right. So after you got baptized, you said that there was a lot of a lot of gray time, a lot of gray area after being I thought I was going to continue my education. What are some things that you wish the Orthodox or the Ethiopian Orthodox Church would change about after finally converting people and getting them to to become baptized, take communion? What are some things that you think that should be implemented that would make the transition so much easier?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think some kind of regular point of contact, that would have been great. I needed more guidance, especially because I was so young. I was 19. I was still trying to finish school. I really didn't know how to navigate a lot of the challenges I was facing. It was COVID, so just contact with people in general was a little spotty. So I think that would have been the biggest thing for me.
Do you think if you were to have converted now in 2025, do you think it would have been easier to keep your education, or maybe because of the abundance of now English sermons, English teachings, even English kadase being so widespread? Of course, not as widespread as we hope, but even more widespread than it was in 2019. Do you think that definitely would have helped you have a stronger connection at that time after being baptized?
Oh, absolutely. Like, there's already been so much progress made in such a short time. It's amazing. And also, just like the area that we're in now, Texas is such a different, like, it would be such a different story because there's so many different resources here versus Indiana. So, yeah, I think right here, right now, it would have been much easier, yeah.
What are some things that you do after, of course, getting baptized to fully exercise your Christianity?
Can you ask that one more time? I'm sorry.
It's all good. What are some things that you do like after you gotten baptized or after you've kind of gotten comfortable with the church to like practice your Christianity, whether that's reading more books or getting into classes?
Yeah, so attending the college class was huge because it helped me actually like open the Orthodox study Bible and learn what the actual like Orthodox theology is, and not just to learn about it, but to also kind of like present it in the class. Like if you can teach something, then you know if you really understand it. Also, I think just daily prayer, making it more a part of my life. When I was at school, I really wasn't like practicing orthodoxy practically like every day. So just kind of like making it a part of my life, going to church more regularly once I was able to actually access church more regularly. That made all the difference for me.
And finally, what advice would you give to people that either have just converted or have converted and kind of feel disassociated with the church? What advice would you give them to maybe go back to the church, or maybe some things they can do to feel more connected to the faith?
I'd say I definitely understand that it's a hard road, and guess what? I know you can do it. Just kind of like keep yourself in the game and reach out to someone. Like, there are so many good points of contact, resources. If you don't know, like, you can find that person. You can ask someone to help you find that kind of person that will guide you and take you to other resources if they don't have enough. There are resources out there, and people care a lot. And please just like take that leap of faith. And I know it's uncomfortable, but please reach out because no one can help you if they don't know what you need.
Hi, who am I here with?
Hello, I'm Saul Tekalecion.
What was your religion prior to Orthodoxy, and what made you convert?
I was raised Eastern Orthodox, Greek Orthodox, but we attended a Antiochian parish growing up with my family. I kind of fell away from Orthodoxy for a little while when I was growing up. It's a lot of cradle Orthodox, kind of same situation, because my parents really weren't as into the church, or it's just an American kind of phenomenon we see happening. But Rastafari brought me back, Ras Al-Dinas on YouTube. He's a great teacher and brought me into the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo faith, and man, the history of Ethiopia, and wow, just totally changed my life actually.
I love that. When you first heard about Orthodox Christianity, what is something that maybe you had or were misguided on, or maybe something that you were really interested in?
So yeah, I was raised cradle Orthodox, so I just grew up at the church where a lot of the Rastafarians, the first time they've seen an icon was like through social media or through their phones. I grew up with venerating icons, kissing icons since as far back as I can remember. I was an altar boy as a youth. I really just loved the church the whole time. But what kind of made me fall away from the faith a little bit was my parents not knowing the theology, asking them, so if you're not a Christian, everyone's else is going to hell, and that's a Protestant theology. So it was a little mixed up between like just it's in the air out here. Everything's Protestant as far as Christianity goes. So learning the true theology of the church and stuff, and it goes so deep. It's never ending, but it's the answers to everything. It's basically all the things that you never knew, or that it's just been learning the theology, and it's really helping.
I love that. Now, you mentioned your parents. Were they a factor in you converting? Were they against it? Were they for it? Was there probably a little bit of struggle with you converting?
They kind of didn't understand a little bit with the Rastafari thing, but when they saw how good it was helping me and it was changing me. I had an Ethiopian girlfriend that she's the one who brought me into the church, and then yeah, from that point on, they were pretty much seeing like, oh wow, this is a great thing. It really actually mended a lot of a lot of schisms that happened in my family. So actually, and even at the crucial moments of me growing up, and a lot of stuff has happened. Orthodoxy has just like anchored me into, man, the faith and just protected me from a lot of stuff that was coming down the line. So it's been. I suggest anyone like run to the church. You know what I mean?
I love that. Now, of course, it's going to be a different experience going into church or going into a faith that you really haven't known much about before. But when you first attended your first church service, what was that like? What was going out throughout your head?
So me and that girl Martha, we ended up going to the Dingle Mariam in LA, and we were both crying together. Like we went up on the balcony. It's kind of one of those things. Your first time going, you just sit in the back, you know. So I'm like we're up on the balcony, and it was powerful. We just ended up going to church together like every Sunday after that. It was really helping us bonding and stuff too.
I love that. Now, when it comes to how many years have you been an Ethiopian Orthodox Christian?
So I was chrismated in 2016 in Aksum, but I attended church about 2 years before going to Aksum with Martha, and yeah, I think so. What is that, like 8 years or yeah?
So you said you were in Aksum. How many times have you been to Ethiopia?
So I've been to Ethiopia 4 times now, and I want to just continue going. It's something that, wow, to go there is really strengthens your faith in God. It's wow, you can study this your whole life, and so many Rastafarians, like elders, everyone they know everything about it, but until you actually go to the homeland and you see how beautiful it is, you learn more to go there and to like actually take your life seriously. If that's the case and stuff, it'll just change your life so much. You learn way more by going there, for sure.
4 times is incredible. That's more than me. So what did you feel like, or when you actually went to those churches? I mean, obviously we have many Ethiopian Orthodox churches here in the U.S., but it has nothing on the churches there back home. So when you went there, what were the kind of things that were going out throughout your head, like looking at all the different icons, the different ways that these churches are created? What was going on throughout your head?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, it's just it's powerful. Highly know when you go there, it's just it really just there's no way else to say it. You're just crying. I'm just crying all the time. It's just even just the people in general, the culture in general. It's people are very Christ-like, the Ethiopians and Habesha people and everything. It's man, it's something that I don't know, you just have to go to experience. But yeah, the whole churches, going to the churches, going to monasteries, going to Lalibela for Christmas, January 7th, Lidet. It's been powerful. Every single time I've gone, I just leave just with way more strength in God. It's amazing, actually.
I love to hear that. Now, of course, there are so many beautiful things with being an Orthodox Christian, specifically in the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo faith. But what are some things that you struggled with, maybe even after you got baptized? Of course, there's that language barrier, but what are some things that maybe that you didn't expect to have a problem or like something that you had to get used to?
Well, coming from Rastafari, it's going to be a little bit of for a lot of brethren, they'll maybe get baptized and never come back. They want their new name and stuff, and then they never come back. But yeah, just to continue coming back, it's like Orthodox says, this whole workshop, everybody's saying, all the elders too, and wow, as you get older, it's just life gets more serious, and you're having families, and this is what you want to get into to like really anchor yourself into like reality of like how the nature of reality truly is. So just connecting with God, and but yeah, it's not an easy road. It's not the easy path, but it is like the righteous one. It's the one that, if you want to be giving, if you want to like help your own family, if you want to just be part of a community, it's more of the struggle with your family and stuff. So
I love that. What is your favorite moment out of your, what, now 8 years roughly of being an EOTC member? What is probably one of your favorite memories from the entire journey?
That's a good question. Shoot. What can I say? I guess favorite part. I guess just getting more people into it is getting more people into getting baptized and stuff. Like glory to God. But it does make me have a sense of like, wow, like bringing more people into the family. Just like it actually does feel good. Just to what this whole workshop is about. That's why I came here and stuff. And I'm just so blessed to get to come here. It seems like it's a grace that I got to be partaking in. And man, I wouldn't like trade anything else for this. I'm so happy to be here.
I love it. So you actually practice evangelism yourself by going out and trying to bring people back to the faith?
Yeah. I'm a skateboarder, so every time I'm at the skate parks now, I just like don't even skate anymore almost. I just like talk to the youths, I talk to the parents. All I'm doing is just evangelizing everywhere I go. I own a business now. It's all glory to God, like for about 13 years now. Even with my customers, they say don't talk about politics and religion. That's all I talk about with them. But yeah, it's just everywhere I go, that's all I have left. It's,
Truly walking in the ways of Christ. I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It's been great. Hopefully you've enjoyed this conference so far.
yeah, this has been such a beautiful conference, and I hope more stuff is going to be happening like this. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I'm Musa. I'm from the Bronx, Soundview Ave.
Okay, nice to meet you. Can you tell us like what you do?
Well, I'm retired from the military. I did some government work, some asylum officer stuff, but now I'm done with all the government work. I'm a writer. I voice act. I do some acting, theater mostly.
Okay, thank you so much. I do want to say thank you for your services. My next question is, what was your religion prior to orthodoxy, and what made you convert to Orthodox?
I was a Protestant, and some things just didn't add up, and I couldn't find the answers that I was looking for, but I did find them here.
Good. Like, so where did you first hear about like Orthodox Christianity? Was it like from a friend? Was it from like your parents, or was it like from the internet? Like, where did you hear from?
Before ChatGPT, there was Google. It was I was just doing some research on the origins of Christianity.
Good. Okay, interesting. So when converting, were there like any specific struggles that you faced, or were there like any conflicts of interest or things that you didn't really understand that have you like considering like whether or not you were transferring from like to a true religion?
No, I knew what I was moving into. Conflict of interest, I think we all go through that, yeah, even still, those who are baptized and who are not. It's just the world we live in, and the idea is just to try to become better every day and not live a worldly life, but, to live in the world, right?
How did you feel like your life changed after converting?
It became more difficult, but also more fulfilling. Fasting obviously isn't the easiest, especially when I have to, explain it to friends and family, those who aren't Orthodox, but you also gain community that does understand. So.
How do you feel like you're handling those struggles? Do you have like your spiritual father? Do you do like confessions?
Yes, I have a spiritual father. Shout out Cassis Nibiu. And I have a great community around me, BABS, the Bay Area Bible Society, in the Bay Area. And in fact, we're going on a monastery retreat August 1st through 3rd. So that's going to be pretty good. Yeah.
Hi, who am I here with?
Kevin.
What's your baptismal name?
Kedane Mariam.
All right. When did you get baptized?
At 6:30 a.m. this morning.
Today? Yes. Oh, I love that. So when did you first hear about Orthodoxy? Was it from a friend? Was it from a father?
Good question. Ethiopian Orthodox was probably less than 2 years ago when I started talking to a girl at work.
Okay.
Yes.
Where are you from, and what religion were you prior to this?
I'm in the Dallas area. I've grown up in the Dallas area my whole life, and I was Protestant.
What made you come to the Orthodox faith?
A girl. My fiance now, she has led me into a deeper understanding of where, like, the roots of Protestantism even were the roots of Catholicism, and everything goes back to the orthodoxy that Ethiopians practice, and I am forever grateful.
When converting, were there any specific struggles that you faced, maybe like a language barrier, but also other things when you came to the church?
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, obviously the language barrier, but the physical nature of standing in a church service, and on top of that, standing for a very long time, hours and hours. But I took it as an opportunity to just kind of like have faith in God, that like I have great faith in God from Protestantism, and I'm just kind of just converting and going to a more foundational form of faith, and I'm faithful and trusting in Him to, just if I put my feet forward, just keep walking, then He's going to bless me, and I'm receiving those blessings weekly.
Do you remember the first time you ever went to an actual service at an Ethiopian Orthodox church?
Yes. It was here at Selassie, and it was rough. But that was the beginning
Of a journey.
Yeah.
All right. So you said you got baptized just this morning. How did that feel, just coming out and then also like taking communion? Like, how did that whole experience feel?
It was great. I mean, it was a really cool ceremony that the priests and deacons did, and it was really beautiful, and just was very meaningful, like how much they put into it for one individual. Like, it's a very special thing to do in your faith, and they really did great to make it that special.
That. Now, finally, last but not least, after, of course, you just got baptized this morning, but from here on out, what are some things that you're probably going to do to strengthen your Christianity or hopefully grow in your knowledge?
I'm going to try to just regularly communicate with my my confession father, and just so I can keep that, just the system of repentance and staying close with God, and throughout the year, I'm going to try to learn more Amharic for sure, and my fiance will help me with that. But yeah, that's a couple things. And we believe in the Son, in the Son. We believe in the Father. And we believe in the Son, in the Son. We also believe. We also believe. We also.
Now, when it comes to the conference of where we're here, we've heard lots of different stories. I've talked to a bunch of different people, and they all kind of seem to have this same issue of having a language barrier. Of course, it comes with going into a completely new religion that also has another completely new language too, Amharic and Ge'ez. So what do you think the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church has done, or hopefully will continue to do, to help break this language barrier and make the transition from whatever denomination of faith they were in before to Orthodoxy, that transition period, smoother?
So let me start with what is being done here in the States. We, in most, I can't say in most, but in some churches throughout the U.S., there are English sermon services, and there are also divine liturgy services in English. In some places, they do that once a week on Saturdays. There are some places on a seasonal basis where they do divine English liturgy on a weekly basis on Saturdays. Here at Debre Birhan Holy Trinity, we have a monthly service, the Divine Liturgy in English, once a month. There is also another church, St. Michael, here in Dallas, that has the same once a month English service. So we are doing that. In many places now where there are English services and English-speaking servants, we have a weekly sermon after the Divine Liturgy. We have basically regular weekly English sermon before or after the Amharic preaching service. And so this is something that is really expanding. So that's a wonderful thing. That's a good thing. But that's not enough. For the most part, because this is done on a limited basis, the new believers or converts still have a challenge to come and worship with us on a weekly basis. And so there needs to be more that the church needs to do. And this may have to do with the first thing that we need to address is we have a shortage of servants that can serve, that can conduct the divine liturgy in English, that can give sermon. And so we need to work on that. The church really needs to work on that. As far as preaching, right now, because there is a great interest from the youth really to serve in the church, we have many young deacons now coming into the preaching service in English, and they are developing fast and in great numbers. And so that seems to be going good, but we need more clergy also for this service, basically. So the church really needs to work on that. We may need, because we are going to have, from here on, we expect to have many more converts into the Orthodox faith. And we cannot expect that we can keep them in the church with the kind of limited service that we have now. So we need to have a discussion, not just on a parish basis, but on a diocese basis, how to address this shortcoming so that we can better serve. We have to have a focus. We need to be goal-oriented in terms of what we need to do to serve these converts, non-Ethiopians coming into the Orthodox Tewahedo faith. So that's what the church needs to do.
I love it. To kind of touch on what you were saying at the end about new believers and hoping to keep them within the church. A lot of the times when people transition over to the EOTC faith, a lot of the times like they'll go in and a lot of people are so eager to help them. They get them all the way to baptism, they get baptized. And almost as soon as they come out of the waters and the communion comes into their mouths, a lot of the times they find themselves without a community. And they find that, oh, okay, well, he just got baptized, he's good, all right, our job here is done. What are some things that people can do for people that just have gotten baptized or that have just transitioned over to the community to really make them feel welcome within the EOTC faith and also to strengthen their Christianity as time goes on?
So one of the things that needs to be done is there needs to be a better effort and work on follow-up. So there, one of them, in fact, was speaking that their baptism, that's only the beginning of the journey. And so we need to be with them on this journey so that they stay on the orthodox path, on the straight path. And so there has to be a follow-up. We have got to do better on that. And part of that, the thing that needs to be done is a great deal of emphasis on leading a sacramental life when we teach them about baptism in the first place. If we don't teach them in depth, then they would just get baptized and they would think that that's all they need to do. And different people come forward for different reasons at first. They may have different reasons. Some come through marriage, some come through different kind of inspiration, some come because of friends. But once they are baptized, if we don't have a system to follow up with them so that they live a sacramental life, then it's easy for them, to abandon the church in practice. And so for that reason, we need to do a better work on follow-up. Again, this is something that needs to be done, not just on a parish basis or on an individual basis, but there has to be a system that we need to develop so that we can address this problem, this issue, in a communal manner instead of on an individual basis.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining me, Cassis. Your insight was wonderful. Thank you so much for staying with us all this time. It truly, like I said earlier, has been a beautiful and fruitful conference. Everyone here has been all across the board saying that this conference, seeing so many people from so many different backgrounds and so many different walks of life going through the same struggles as they once did in order to get to this beautiful point of baptism and accepting the true faith that is the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, has truly been a blessing to see here in person, and hopefully from everyone watching at home or from wherever you are, you've gotten to see and take away so many beautiful things from this conference. Truly, we are so glad that you stayed with us this long, and we'll see you soon.